Today's show, we're going to give you the 5 biggest swing players for the Green Bay Packers going into the 2025 NFL season. 5 make-or-break players, 5 X factors for this roster if they want to have a chance to compete for a Super Bowl in 2025. Before I name those 5, though, make sure that you guys join our Noti Gang. What is the Noti Gang, you ask? Great question. Basically, all of those who have their notifications on, all of those who, right when we post those videos, get in the comment section, like the video. That's what we call the Noti Gang. Currently, we've got 668 cheeseheads in there. My goal after today's video is get that up to 750. The way you do that, subscribe to the channel, click the bell emoji, turn on those all, and then enable your YouTube notifications on your phone, on your computer. You do all those things. Get in the comment section first. Those are the ones in the Noti Gang. First commenter shout-outs from one of our latest videos. Shout-out to William, Love Pack, Sofa King, YULD Booth, Eric P. Naker 7517. Really do appreciate every single one of you guys who engage with our content, like the videos, comment back and forth. It means a ton. So, whoever's going to be next, get down in those comments section. Alrighty, let's waste no more time. Let's get into the 5 biggest X factors for your Green Bay Packers going into 2025. These aren't the 5 best players, okay? They're not the 5 most important players. But they're 5 players that I believe will have make or break seasons and mean a lot to this roster when you look back on it. And that's starting with Jordan Morgan. The offensive tackle, possibly, maybe a guard, was the former first-round pick for your Green Bay Packers, not in 2025, but of course in 2024. And currently, we're all kind of shrugging our shoulders, lifting up our hands, and saying, we have no clue where Jordan Morgan's going to play in 2025. Because so far, during OTAs, during mandatory minicamp, during the offseason, he's been taking snaps at a couple different positions. He's been taking snaps at left tackle, behind Rasheed Walker, sometimes in front of Rasheed Walker with the ones. He's also taken number 1 rep snaps at the right guard spot too. I think it's great that he's versatile and that they feel like they can put him wherever they need to. But I think it'd be better for everybody, himself included, if we lock in on one position and say, hey, you're the left tackle, you're the right guard for 2025, now go be as good as you can be, right? Wherever he lines up, at the end of the day, he's going to be a really big part of this offensive line. And I'm really ready to see him in action. He didn't have the best rookie year. He didn't have the rookie year that everybody kind of thought that he would. Obviously, he was a tackle in college. You drafted him. You turned him into a guard. And I think he feels this way. I know I certainly do. He's probably better suited as a tackle. Well, now he got a full year of reps, not at that position, but just how to be a player in the National Football League. It's a really big jump from one step to the other, and maybe the position change is what's going to help him this next season. You tell me, where do you think Jordan Morgan will be playing in 2025? Is it at left tackle? Is it at right guard? If it's at tackle, give me an LT. If it's at guard, go ahead and give me an RG in the comment section down below. Let's go to number 2. Let's talk about Keshan Nixon, a guy who on Monday of earlier this week, his life changed. And it reminds me of this meme. Now, I know he doesn't feel this way because he's a competitor at the heart. But it's like that tweet, accidentally became important at work, and it's ruining my life because Keshan Nixon went from being the CB2 on this roster, a guy who would have to cover, when you're playing the Bengals, he has to cover T. Higgins. Not easy. When you're playing the Vikings, he's got to cover Jordan Addison. Not easy, right? But now, he's the cornerback 1. When you play Cincy, he's got to get on Jamar Chase. When you play Minnesota, guess who has to cover Justin Jefferson? That's right, Keshan Nixon does. You didn't restructure Jaire Alexander's contract. You let him go. Now he's the best corner on this team. And he's going to have to take a big step up. Okay? He had a good year last year. It wasn't anything unbelievable, but plain and simple, this pass defense is going to need Nixon to play at his best. I'm not worried about the safeties at all. Williams, McKinney, 2 of the best in the game. I think possibly the best safety room in all of the National Football League. But this cornerback room, I'm going to keep my eye on them, okay? I know they got a lot of practice playing without Jaire Alexander. I mean, think about last season. They played 10 games without Jaire Alexander in 2024, and they still fared pretty well. When you look at the passing yards per game, they gave up 215, 13th. They were top 10 in yards per play, touchdown allowed, and expected points added per pass. The completion percentage was a little bit higher than I would have wanted, 23rd best in the National Football League. Not great. But this team's gotten a lot of practice playing without Jaire. Keshan Nixon has gotten a lot of practice playing without Jaire Alexander. But now it's for real, right? He's not on this roster. He's not just over there sitting the bench with an injury. He's gone. He'll be with somebody else. He'll be wearing a different color uniform. And Keshan Nixon has nowhere to hide. I don't think he wants to hide. I don't think he's going to hide. But it's crazy to look at this team and not think he's one of our X factors in 2025. Let's talk about the first round pick. Of course, I'm talking about Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas, taken with the 23rd overall selection. And let's just be honest. If Matthew Golden isn't who the Packers hoped he would be, isn't who we all think he is, then this Packers wide receiver room is going to be the exact same as last year, except just no Christian Watson because he's injured. Like, if Matthew Golden doesn't have the production that we all want him to, then you're still looking at Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks. You're looking at those guys to be making plays. And I think they all proved last year that they're good wide receivers, but are those three enough to give yourself a passing game that's one of the best in the National Football League? I don't know. I don't think so. Now, the good thing so far about Matthew Golden is that he's been looking very, very good at OTAs. Very, very good at minicamp. Andy Herman tweeted this out. Everything Matthew Golden does just looks natural. Routes, catching, returning, just born to do it. Hayden Winks followed up that tweet of Andy Herman saying, expected, but Matthew Golden is in 2 wide receiver starting sets in June. So far, it seems that Matt LaFleur is getting everything that he thought he would out of their first round selection, okay? But let's be real. Not only is Matthew Golden an X factor, but the entire wide receiver room needs to step up as well. I'm talking less drops, more consistency, and I think if Matthew Golden has a really good year, if number 22 is the player that we all want him to be, then everybody subsequently is going to be better because of that, because there's less attention on them. Out of those 4 wide receivers we talked about, who do you think has the most receiving yards in 2025? You let me know in the comment section down below. I've asked this before. Curious if your opinions have changed. You let me know your answer. Let's go back to the defensive side of the football. Let's talk about Kenny Clark, okay? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be transparent with you guys. I am very, very expectant that Kenny Clark takes a step back up in 2025 because he took a step in the wrong direction in 2024. Now, there is a reason for that, okay? We didn't know the severity of it, but when he spoke to the media after OTAs last week, he talked about how he underwent surgery in January for bone spurs. Spent a good chunk of last season on the injury report because of a toe injury that initially happened in the season opener in Brazil. So one of your best players, probably your best interior defensive lineman, was suffering a toe injury from week 1 through the entirety of the season. We can chalk up that to why he probably took that step back, but it's not good enough to just say, oh, it's because of injury. He's going to be better in 2025. He's going to have to show it. Because if you look at 2024 compared to 2023, it was worse in every single statistic. He had less tackles. He had less stops. He had 6.5 less sacks. And then also 24 less quarterback pressures. He's going to have to be better. Plain and simple. This whole defensive line is going to have to be better. Now, the good thing about it with Kenny Clark having that surgery, a healthy Kenny Clark makes everybody better around him. That's just kind of how it goes for that position group. I'd say for the defensive line, for the wide receivers, those 2 position groups, if you have one really, really good player it can't help but make the other players around them much better because there's less attention on those guys. And Kenny Clark, he's going to take that next step. He's going to help everybody and take him with him. Make sure that you guys are joined in that Noti Gang I talked about earlier. If you joined it today or if you were already in it, go ahead and let me know who my real ones are by typing those me's in the comment section down below. It's a very, I don't want to say classified group, but only the real ones are in it. You let me know if that's you. Let's go to the final one. How about Tucker Kraft, the tight end? And Tucker Kraft was absolutely massive for this offense in 2024. Kraft was such a pleasant surprise, okay? He had a really, really good season. And I don't want to say none of us expected it, but I don't think we expected it as big as it was. 50 receptions on 70 targets, 707 yards, 14.1 yards a catch. Absolutely unbelievable. 7 touchdowns. He had 70 targets, 700 yards. Basically, that's 10 yards a target, not 10 yards a catch. And Kraft is such a massive X factor because he proved last season that he can be that tight end safety blanket for Jordan Love. Think of all the great quarterback tight end duos over the last decade and a half in the National Football League. That's become such an important thing for an offense, and Green Bay has that. However, if he takes a step back, then Jordan Love loses that safety blanket. That's not good for this team. The good thing is, though, Jordan Love knows just how important Tucker Kraft is to this offense. He spoke the other day at media and said since he stepped on the scene, he's shown us who he is as a playmaker and shown us reasons why we should keep giving him the ball. I think a big part of going into the season is finding ways to continue getting Tuck the ball. Get him as many touches as we can in a game because he's a dynamic playmaker and does some really good things once he gets the ball in his hands. That's going to be the focus, making sure we get him as many touches as possible each week. And my guess is they're going to get him more involved down the field, like in the deeper third of the football field in terms of how the defense plays, right? Last year he was used a lot kind of as a little bit of check down in the flat. Get him the ball, turns around, he turns something into it. I think Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love realize how good he is, not only at catching the ball, but once he has the rock with him. And I think they're trying to get him involved a little bit more in the deep passing game along the seams in the middle of the field. Make sure you guys have got me on social media. You can find me on Twitter. You can also find me on Instagram at Joey Petersen 8 on both of those platforms. Trying to grow as fast as I can. Need you guys' help to do so. And it's the same thing for right here on the Packers Report. We're trying to grow every single day, and you guys are the reason why we get to do it. If you haven't yet, join us today by subscribing.